Well, hello everybody. So glad you could join me again today. Welcome back to my channel. This is a new video of a turbulent sea lighthouse theme. You can see the sea is pretty choppy and there's big waves going on. And it is on a very craggy area, very rocky. And here's the lighthouse, and we have some really nice looking clouds up here. And of course, this is video 1 of this scene. Let's go ahead and dial you in a little. And I need to remove the cellophane. There we go. As always, please subscribe. It's 100% free, no cost to you as a viewer. And hit the bell notification only if you want to be notified when I release a video. And leave a comment, suggestions, ideals, questions. We're going to start with the letter A. And let me find that. Please make them 7 words or longer, please. Otherwise, YouTube does not recognize it as an interaction with our audience. As always, I hope everyone is doing well, or as well as can be expected. And of course, it is the new year. So many people are experiencing well, we won't talk about that. Anyway, yeah. Hope everyone enjoys the video and enjoys the change of scenery. Of course, I'm using the large stylus. We have really large areas to do on this painting. Going to have to do quite a lot of shakeouts due to the long big rows here, so bear with me on that. Okay. Whoops, they did not discharge. Always a challenge. Okay. I did want to say that I have already had my taxes done. I hate tax season. The faster I can get it done, the happier I am. That gives me that many more days and that many more months that I don't have to think about it. So that's just the type of person I am. Of course, every income that I make, regardless of how small, I have to claim on taxes, because if you don't, well, that's called tax evasion. And so all my different avenues of money is claimed on there. And to be honest, I'm quite poor. I'm lucky. Let's see, I live in New York State. There's a high cost of living here. Of course, minimum wage has gone up here. We have our own state-mandated minimum wage here, and it has gone up. However, so has cost of living. So it's not like you make a whole lot more. So just for anyone who is curious to know, I am lucky. I make approximately $25,000 to $30,000 a year. It's a very, very low income bracket. Just so you know, I'm not getting rich off of anybody. In fact, I'm barely scraping by. So and boy, am I taxed. I still pay in. Yeah. Well, of course, I pay in and to some extent because, well, being self-employed, you don't have taxes taken out weekly or bi-weekly or monthly like people who work wages. So I do pay in every year. Because even that is not considered a low enough income, and having no young children anymore means I'm not eligible for a lot of tax credits that many other people may receive. I don't own property. I'm too poor. I own nothing of value, no stocks, no bonds, no nothing. I believe that to be gambling anyways, personally myself. I don't trust other people with my money. What little I got, it's too hard to come by and too hard earned to trust companies to, oh, we'll build you your money. Just like I don't do crypto. To me, crypto is a scam. So I would never hand my money over to someone else with their vague promises of making me more money. To me, it's like the lottery. So, good story here. My father, who did work his butt off and earned his money, was a firm believer of gambling through lottery. That man would buy so many tickets and waste so much money on it. So much money. And he never won. He didn't even win small, to be honest. And put it this way, by the time he had gotten done, I believe that if he had, and this was the day when you could buy a Mega Million or a New York State lottery ticket for only $1. And in my opinion, if he had taken that dollar each time and put it in an account, he probably would have saved up well over $100,000 or more. With the great hopes to win. That's gambling. Yeah. So, I don't like to gamble. Funny story there. I had a girlfriend who took me to a casino. Never been to a casino in my life. And I was like, I don't have any money. And she gave me like $40 for my birthday. And she goes, now you do. And she insisted I try it. Well, right away, you start to lose. Yep. So I started losing money. And then I managed to win it all back plus maybe $1 or $2 more. And then I quit. And she was like, well, why you quit and you still got money? I go, exactly, that's the point. I got money. I not only got my money back finally, but I got like a couple of dollars more, and I'm keeping it. I don't make a good gambler at all. So, yeah. Which is why I don't do stocks either. Stocks and things like that are rich man's gambling. It's them gambling that they're going to get money back, and if they can afford to lose, good for them. But I don't like losing my money. It's too hard earned, too hard to come by. And you'd think, well, she gave you the 40, you didn't earn it. But I had better use for it than to lose it at gambling. Yeah. You see, that's the thing I don't like, is I just watched my father lose money hand over fist, because he would spend like $10, $20 a week every week, and he did this for like 20 years. That's a lot of money, all up in smoke, in hopes that he would win big. Yeah, no. When it says, when there's huge odds are you're not going to win. So I did take on a habit about, I want to say about 4 years ago, that when the lottery hits like $1 billion or more, like I've even seen it hit 2 billion before, I would buy one ticket. This would happen like maybe once a year. One ticket. Because I was like, it's $2 once. Not 20, $10, $20 every week. And who knows, you might win, but the odds are still against you. All right. Now we're going to move to the smaller stylus because, well, these are smaller amounts now. So, but yeah, my father wasted so much money, so much of his money. If he had just put it in like a savings account every time he had that urge to buy tickets every week. Like, and this started way back, like, oh my goodness. He started doing this in the 70s, and he didn't pass away until 2010, 13, something like that. And can you imagine like 2 decades worth of $20 a week? That's 52 weeks out of the year for 20 years. That's a lot of money. And then the older he got, sometimes the more money he would even spend. I would watch him spend like, oh, the lottery's up at 20 million or 30 million, and he would spend $30 instead. Yeah, that's a lot of money, And heck, he would have earned interest in a savings account. Granted, it would be lower, but yeah, what a waste for something that's never going to happen. That's like dreaming that you're suddenly a movie star or something. Things like that don't just happen, you know? And the odds of winning and the odds of becoming a multi-millionaire or billionaire are slim to none. And yeah, money's too hard earned to waste like that, in my opinion, which is why I never got into it. It's gambling, just like stocks and bonds. They're gambling. So if you have billions sitting around, you're trying to hide them. You're trying to not pay taxes on them. You want to buy stocks and just have them sit. Yeah, you can afford it. But the average working man, they can't afford to put something into a stock and have it sit, 10 years and then worry about it or whatnot. They don't have that kind of money. Like, do you have $50,000 to sit for however many years or whatever? Because that's the only time stocks actually get cost-worthy, is if you have the money to do it big. Small stocks don't ever become big value, only on a rarity. Maybe for startup companies that start becoming famous, But yeah, not my cup of tea. And I always believe if you don't know much about something, don't do it, especially when it comes to risks with your money. If you're going to do something, make sure you research it very, very well. And be careful about putting money away that you can't afford to put away. And some of them, if you buy them like CD bonds, things like that, they might have a higher yield, but if you suddenly need the money and you cash them in, some will penalize you where they actually take all your money right back. That's why I don't like 401k plans. They're all stock-based. And if you read let's see, we're going to go to letter U now. If you read the print, it will tell you that you're paying a brokerage firm to handle your stock. That means they're taking a percentage of it. Then if they don't have very good stock, you're going to lose money. And employees trick you. They say they match what you put into it. No, they don't. If you read the fine print, they will match you up to like $10 or $20 a week. It says it right in it if you read the whole thing. A lot of people read things thinking they're getting a good deal. They're not. Pensions were worth more, and they were better as a planning for retirement, and companies wanted to get rid of them because it was costing them money and they didn't want to pay for it. So they started up the 401k plans. And believe it or not, you don't have to accept the 401k plan. You can opt out of them. You can take your own money, put it in a savings or CDs or whatever you want to do. Companies do nothing that costs them more. They always do something in the self-serving interest of the company and the stockholders, who are usually rich people. Yeah, controlled by rich mega billion corporations, and they are not out to help you as an employee or as a stockholder unless you are an absolute billionaire yourself, just to let you know. So even though I'm amazingly poor and I work hard to earn my money, and I have been out of work due to surgeries, I know all of these because the information's out there if you look for it. So I find most of them manipulative. And even if they offer you stock in their own company, they're only doing it so they can get out of paying you anything. Or their company's in trouble. I mean, there's different scenarios, but be very careful because most companies are not out to help you as a small person. They're out to line their own pockets and line the pockets of those who are already rich. Still doing the letter U. There are a lot of these. In fact, the information is so much easier to find these days than they were when I was. So I was born in the late 60s. And during 70s and 80s, before computers really blew up, information was hard to find. You had to go to the library. There was a lot of work. Nowadays, the information is easily available, and records are easily available. And there's so many ways to protect yourself if you choose to bother to look up things. Now, is all information highly relevant to everyone? Well, no. But depending on who you are and what you're trying to either accomplish or you're trying to gather informative information to make an educated decision. Yeah. So, more groupings is exactly what we're doing here. What do they call it? A fool and his money is soon parted. So yeah, between the lottery gambling tickets that my father did and a 401k plan that he was suckered into having, which he was having like them take $100 a week and put into it. And he did that for 7 years. 7 years. By the time he cashed that in, he only got a little over $1,000. Tell me if that ain't a ripoff. Because he wouldn't listen to me. He wouldn't allow me to make him understand. You know, he was born in the 30s. And he would not allow me. Unfortunately, he was in a generation where they were loyal to their companies. They believed everything that the company told them, even if they were lies. And he lost out by not believing, by not allowing anyone to tell him differently. And of course, when he cashed it in, he didn't state what a ripoff it was. He didn't want to admit that he was conned. Yeah, that's what it is, a con. Okay, letter F. Put away U. We're going to go for F. So a lot of this is the sky up here now and different shades of it. So which, by the way, I'm not a financial advisor, but I will say any form of gambling, the odds are against you. They are in favor of the house, just like poker. The house always comes first. And it's intended for them to take and make money off from you, not the other way around. It's right in the rules. Same with lottery. If you look at the odds, they're not good. And the odds are always written on the back of the tickets. And the same with the 401k plans. If you read them and you read about the percentage that you're paying a stockbroker company and the types of stocks that they offer you, because not all stocks are the same. And if they don't allow you to go in and change them at your will, they're doing you a big disservice. So one of the best things to do, as I said, is you are legally allowed to opt out. That's exactly what it's called, is opting out. You do not have to take them. And if you read the fine print, so the employee matches you up to, and they'll have either a percentage rate, and more than likely they have like up to $10 a week. $10. That's all they're matching. That's all they're matching, your contribution. The rest of it is all your money. Your money, not their money. And you have to really read that kind of thing, because again, companies are not out to make you happy or make you comfortable or make you money. They're only going to make money for those who are already extremely wealthy. You know, the same as banks. So banks give you a loan, right? You go there, you can prove how much you make. They're like, oh, you want a home loan for $300,000. Okay. No matter what interest rate they're giving you, if you check into the interest rate that you are paying by the term of the loan, you will find out that you are going to be paying back approximately 3 times the amount that you borrowed. Oh yeah, 3 times the amount. Banks don't loan money without a long-term investment, and they are out to make money. And you can there are many calculation things that you can do. How do you lower the amount you're giving back? You have to pay extra on principal only. So, how do you do that? You make your mortgage payment every month, and then you add more to it, and it has to be called on principal only. That is the only way to pay less on your house. Unless you get an extremely, and I do mean extremely ultra great interest rate, and you have to be extremely wealthy to get a 1% interest rate. Yeah, 1%. They do give them to the extreme wealthy. You're going to pay back 3 times the amount of the house. I watched a special finance advisor once when I was 16. I was 16 years old. I'll never forget it. Never forget this. On TV when I was 16. We had moved into the city from the country, and there was nothing else on, and I'm always interested in what people talking about money. And I watched a financial advisor do that, show people how banks make huge money. They're banking on making that money. That's what they're banking on. That's why they give you that loan, because they know they're going to make 3 times more than what they're loaning you. And I was stunned. I was like, oh my God. So if you take out a loan for $20,000, you can expect you're going to pay back, let's see, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000. That's what they're banking on, is you're going to pay back $80,000 off from 20. And that's exactly what they do. That's why they give the long-term loan out. Same goes with vehicles. If you're not paying extra on principal only, and you got to make sure you say that it's written or whatever, principal only, then they're going to apply it just to the next payment with the interest included. You got to put it as principal only and make it a bit separately. Yeah. And by doing so, you pay it off not only ahead of time, but you can also lower your payments. So if you're kind of struggling a little and you want the payments, your mortgage to be a bit lower, if you pay extra, even if it's just $50 a month, every month, eventually it will lower your payments. And then as your payments lower, you can pay it off faster. Okay, we are done with the S. I see a U I missed, so I'm going to hijack a U and put that in there. Okay, then the letter Y. So yeah, not financial advice, but true experience and seeing it done and seeing what happens. My girlfriend, who I told that to, she's better with math than I am. Oh my God, like a whiz. And I told her, I was like, you should know this. I go, you're good with math. You know about interest rates. You know about how the system works. I go, look at it. Look into it. I go, you've had the house already for what, 10 years? And you still owe almost the same amount that you did when you took out the mortgage for it. I go, add it up. I go, they're banking on you paying this really slow. They're banking on you. I go, why else would they give you a loan? She looked into it, and, well, I proved my point. So in 2 years, she paid off her house. Yep. And I told her where I got the information. And in 2 years, she decided she was paying her house off. Yep. Because, so in 2 years, she paid off an $80,000 mortgage because after looking at it, she discovered that she was going to be paying on a 30-year mortgage, so she already paid 10 years on it, which left 20 years left. She was going to pay triple the amount of the worth of the house. And, which I'm proud of her. I mean, she has the income now, because that's something we were talking about. And I had said to her, I go, now that you're making so much, I go, you're going to pay off the house, right? And she was like, why would I do that? And I pointed that out to her. And she did look into it, and she was like, she decided, oh, hell no, I'm not paying triple the amount of the house, you know, and she did exactly what I told her that she needed to do. So what she decided to do was, of course, you're going to pay. Okay, we're still doing Y. Of course, you're still going to make your monthly mortgage payment. And then she did a second payment of principal only for the same amount. And she paid it off in 2 years. Because once you pay that off, all you have to worry about is your own taxes, because that's what I told her. I said, a lot of people object and they're like, oh, but my taxes are included. And I'm like, do you mean to tell me that it's worth paying the bank triple the worth of the house just to let them pay your taxes? Like, you can't have the worth of your taxes taken out of your check and put in a separate account? Or you can't move it over yourself that your house is worth that much more? Wow. I wouldn't pay that. Do it my damn self. That's right. Do it yourself. So, yeah, and then after we had spoken and she told me that, I was like, oh, so now you're going to pay off your truck payment because you don't want to pay all that in interest rate, which is true, because she did buy a lightly used new truck. And oh my God, yeah, again, interest rate. The banks, I don't care what good interest rate they give you, unless they're giving you 1%, you're paying out of the butt. And you're just better off paying that off. Because you're saving money. You know, the highly elite millionaires that can get loans for a 1% interest rate, you're paying out more. Way more than you want to pay, because they're banking that they get their money back plus a good chunk to make it worth their while. But the people that don't need it, that can live on generational wealth, where they're rolling the wealth over and rolling it over and rolling over for the next extremely wealthy generation. They're the ones that don't need the money, and yet they're the ones that save the money, that they cater to and give to. And I know I've covered this subject before, but not everybody looks at the old feed or listens to it. And that's why I'm covering it again now, because it is very important that people check it, look at the information, and make those decisions. Okay, F. Like, I tried to talk to my dad into paying it. He's like, oh, but they include taxes. But they're freaking taking your money. Like, you can't save up your own money and put money in a savings account every month. You know? Really? You're paying the bank $50 extra every month to just cover your taxes. You can't do that yourself. We're going to work with letter C. There's a lot of C's that are loose in there. Really, Dad? Really? You can't save yourself, that much money more every month by just putting in a savings account and even letting it develop a little interest while it's there, You're paying them an extra $50 a month to do that because you don't want to do it. And my father was not a rich man. When he retired, I trying to think when he retired. It was like maybe 2000 and let's see, 2000, 2010 maybe. I can't remember exactly. He was still only making $48,000 a year. Yeah, so it wasn't like he was making big money. So when you're making that small of amount of an income, you know, wasting, what, 50, which would equal $500, $600 a year, that $600 a year could have went for something better than to the bank by that point in interest rate. And in fact, I think he ended up refinancing. He made a lot of vastly poor decisions when it came to money. Letter Z. Because when you're born poor, you don't know how to make your money work for you. And because of that, you make a lot of bad decisions. So the best way is to research it. Learn to control yourself and research how to save yourself money and to make money work for you, but not necessarily the stock market entirely. Like, there's different ways to do it, because think about it. The 401k plans were based on stock. When in 2008, when mortgages, when the banks tanked, a lot of people lost millions and billions of dollars on 401ks. So again, not necessarily the best way to do financial planning. Just saying. So really a thing that you need to research. Don't trust any just one person telling you how to do it. Okay, now we're doing the letter L. Oh, we got green up in the sky. All right, got a cluster right here. So, yeah. My favorite saying is, to beat thy enemy, you must know thy enemy. That way, you must research thy enemy. I do that with bugs. When I get tired of having ants or other bugs in my house, I start researching them to decide how I want to eradicate them. All right, so this is letter T. And the only bug I decided that I liked having around were house centipedes. And these are the true house centipedes with the really long tentacles that they keep clean. They come, they kill, they eat, and they leave. Yeah, they're awesome. They are so clean. Much cleaner than spiders. Much, much cleaner. Okay, and I see a stray eye right there that we're going to hijack. So they're the only bug that I like keeping around. Now, they do have a drawback. If you step on one, they can sting you, but they prefer not to even be around you. They hunt down they eat other bugs, and they hunt them down, and they wrap around them, and they sting them, and then they eat them. It's just awesome. And they move fast. They are the fastest moving bug that you can imagine. It's just so cool. So, yeah, if you go to do something, know what you're doing. Research what you're doing, and then make an informed decision. So know thy enemies, and know what risk you're taking, and determine whether or not you know, assess the risk. Is it worth it to you? Yeah, I'm so proud of my girlfriend who paid off her house. It's just awesome. Who would imagine? Because I saw her house statement. She owed like $78,000. And she paid it off in 2 years. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the video. This is video 1. And thank you so much for watching and listening to me and the rant. And until next time, take care.